Internet dating is not just for the younger generation. According to a new report, the over 50s are turning to online dating services in ever-increasing numbers. One dating website even revealed a 30% increase in the past couple of years. So what are the risks? What are the tips for digital dating? Our relationship psychologist, John Aiken, joins us. Good morning.
Morning, Kerri-Anne.
There was a stigma once upon a time about internet dating. Clearly, that's been passed.
Yeah, look, a lot of people are using this as a very viable option of meeting their lifelong partner. And the great thing about this is that there are many people that are on there, so it gives you a lot of selection.
Okay, well, let's get to some of the risks, because if you're doing anything online, clearly you're doing it blind. So the risks attached to it.
Well, there's lots of things that you need to keep in mind when you're about to launch into it, and often having a friend with you is quite helpful as you go through it. But things like getting a photo that's kind of recent is pretty important, rather than old photos or revealing
quite like
photos.
Some of my photos that are 20 years old. What's wrong with that?
Well, it just sends the message that perhaps you're being someone that you're not. Other things you need to be aware of is being dishonest or giving up too easily if you haven't found someone within a week or two. Also, if you're going to meet them in dangerous locations, or talking about money too soon, or just trying to move it along too quickly when you've sort of got something going with someone. There's some of the risks.
You also talk, it was on the first graphic that we had up, the personal details. Now, that does seem a little obvious to anyone. You don't give those seriously personal details to anyone.
No, you're looking really just to exchange perhaps certainly email or phone, a cell phone, but not your home address, not your home phone numbers, that sort of thing.
And you've got here dull profile, but how do you, I mean, it's a funny line between sort of making yourself out too exciting and being dishonest again, or being dull.
Yeah, well look, I've actually got a mate who's just been recently on one of these sites, and he was saying that making your profile just stand out a little more than the average Joe is quite important. So, rather than just liking the outdoors, it might be that you're really into scuba diving, or hanging out at cafes, or whatever it is. So just making it a little different to what most people would normally see.
Okay, there's got to be a few, because it's so successful now, internet dating, and the figures are absolutely overwhelming with, as I mentioned, the 30% increase. So what are the tips for making this experience successful?
Well, I think the first thing you've got to do is make sure that your photo is a recent one, and it's a good one of you. Because first impressions, we look at the way people look.
Don't use the one from the RTA when you go and get your licence.
Correct.
That's my tip of the day. Do not use the RTA. Come on, people, pull out your licence and let me see what you got, or your passport.
That's right. That's
dog
right.
Photo.
And
no dog photos.
Ones where you're in your bikini or speedos, forget it. It's too soon. Too early on.
Too much information.
Yeah. So avoid that. So and then what you've also got to do is you've got to be honest and be interesting. So make sure that when you're putting your profile across, you are differentiating yourself and you're coming across truthful.
Is there an example you can give us there?
Well, I
think hey, you just can't wave a magic wand over someone and say, be interesting.
No, but the points that you talk about in your profile, what you like, your preferences, make sure they stand out from others.
Maybe you should get a friend to interview you.
That's a good idea.
Get someone to help
great
you.
idea.
Because somebody else sees you very differently to what you see yourself.
That's right. Other tips would be keeping the personal details to yourself. Don't give them out too soon. Also, make sure you're patient. Don't give up too easily, and be selective, because you're going to be inundated with a whole lot of different selections.
And if you're not, you're really going to be depressed.
That's right. And the final thing would be meet up in public places, cafes or restaurants, rather than meeting them at their place, because you want to keep the safety at the forefront of all the interactions.
Excellent advice. And as I said, it's just not for the younger generation, because they're out and about doing stuff. So I think it's terrific information with these statistics at the moment. So John Aiken, thank you very much.